Hello, here's a video on processing your exported VRTC hairs and normals from the Hairstrand designer. I've created 6 different sets, and I'm just going to show you how to process just these. So when you get into Photoshop and open them up, you will see this from the VRTC, and you've got your normal maps looking like normal maps, but we'll also process those. So I'm just going to go from 6 downwards, starting with the VRTC. So looking like this, we're going to go to the layer and choose let's see, layer mask from transparency, right? And that's going to basically extract the color data out, and you can see the alpha data there. So I want to just Control A, Control X and make a new layer and paste it there instead, and then just get rid of this mask, just delete. Okay, that's them now separated. Now this is the wrong way around, so I'm just going to invert it and then levels adjust it up to the point where the top end kind of reaches the lowest point of this tip. Forget about the rest here, this is just to boost the whites. So okay, so now that I've done that, you can see that the strands look a little bit faint here. Okay, so I can levels adjust it some more until those become more white. Something like that, okay. And then once I've done this, I'm just going to go to filter, filter, stylize oil paint, and set this to like 2 or 3. 3 is normally good. Okay, and that's just smoothed everything out. If I do an undo and redo, you can see it's smoothed things out a bit. Okay, so I'll go back here. I don't want to do anything with this one. I'm quite happy with the way it is. Okay, and 5, so image, layer mask from transparency. If I alt click on the mask, I can see this. Control A, Control X, new layer and paste. Control I to invert. Control L to levels adjust to run about, I guess you can go a little bit higher. Just zoom in and make sure you've got a little mid point of the strands there. I think at some point I'm going to generate these alphas a different way. But let's go to something like that. And then oil paint. Just delete that one. So we got the color data and we've got this. So a good way to see this is just to use like multiply, and you can see the effect that's having, or we can do like overlay, to add. You can see it's lining up pretty well. Okay, so that's all good. Next one, image adjustment, and image, not layers, sorry, layers, layer mask from transparency. Alt click on the mask, Control A, Control X, new layer, Control Shift V. I often use Control Shift V to make sure it pastes it in place and not somewhere else. And then levels adjust. Oh, make sure you invert first. Levels adjust this up. Okay, so I've gone quite beyond that bit there, but that's just to make sure it's working. Now the reason for this is because I'm using a bit of an unconventional means to make these hair strands, and they don't really export really good alpha. But I will rewrite the way that's done so that you don't have to go in and do this process, and it'll spit out each map separately. Okay, so that's that one done. We've done the oil paint. Yeah, oil paint's done. The mask. Okay, so this one, Let's go to filter, layer, transparency, alt click, invert, levels adjust. Okay, just extract out AX, Control V, and oil paint on that. Doesn't always let you do oil paint on the mask, so you'll have to paste it into its new layer, and then it lets you do it. Okay, so Control A, Control X, new, and Control Shift V, get rid of the mask there, and click on this one, and oil paint. Okay, so the oil paint settings are the same, that's why I'm just using the previous filter setting. Okay, so now that those are all done, I want to Control A, Control X, and in some cases I might want to save out the opacity, but in this case I want to save it into the alpha channel, and then get rid of this, and then this will now be a target file. Okay, 32 bits is important, that way it gets the alpha channel. So Control A, Control X, new channel. So if you don't see this channels box, you sometimes see it next to layers, but I've moved things around, and then you're just pasting it into the alpha channel. Control A, Control X. Now I could have done this process the first way around, but I just want to show you that it's a two-part process. Oh, let's change that to 3. Okay. So I'm going to pack these with the original content so that you get these kind of options, you know, for different hair strands that I've generated, in case you don't want to go in and mess around with the actual hair strand designer. And you got these, and one more. Okay, now the normal maps, the way they are generated is it's just painting this kind of normal map looking thing along the order of the hairs, so that they're all kind of in front and behind each other and things. And I guess for it to be a little bit smoother, you could go ahead and do an oil paint on that, and it just smoothens it out a bit, you know, not too much, but just enough. So you can see the difference there. Hopefully I'll zoom in more for the sake of the video. So this is before, and filter, stylize, oil paint. Now you need to have the GPU enabled for this, so in case you don't have that option, if it's grayed out, go into performance and make sure your use graphics processor is switched on. It should then become available. You might have to restart Photoshop, but I think most of the time you don't. So okay, so I'm just gonna choose oil paint. So yeah, go back to settings here. I choose 333 and 0 is usually good enough. Okay. So I can just save these as PNGs, these are fine, so process them quite easily. Just oil paint, save, oil paint, save, oil paint. Okay. So I've created 6 different sets. Now in theory you only need one, right? But you might like some parts from one and you want to mix it with another. So if you like, for example, some of the strands from this one, you can take the normal maps and things from each and sort of blend them together through masks. So if you like, for example, oops, just copy this layer, right? I'm going to paste it there. Let's try that again. Right, so I've got these two sets of strands, and I might like these thinner ones. So I can basically just add a mask and say, right, I want these 3, but these ones I'm going to want the thinner ones. Right, so I've used 2 and 1. So I just make sure I do the same with the normal maps. I'm going to copy. So this would be the original 1, I think. Yeah, this would be 2. So let's make sure I get normal map 1 and copy that same mask, and then normal map 2 and paste that under it. So this is now the new combined one. I think that's more like that, right? I must have got the maps, but that's okay. I've just inverted the mask. Or it would be a case of this goes there and that goes above it, right? So I've now got, let me just do a levels on this so you can see it. Right. So I've got the VRTC maps and I've got the normal maps. I also need to do the same for the alphas and then like reintroduce them. So I could go into VRTC 2, grab its alpha. Okay, put that there. So let's call this 2, and the original one that was here, it should still be this one in theory. Right. I can always load it in, I guess. So that's 2. Try to figure out a way of getting the alpha back. Okay, I guess the best thing to do is to open that up, the target. We've got 1 and 2. Okay, so that was 1 actually, just a little bit thin looking. So that's 1, that's 2. Right, so I'll copy this mask out, paste that there, and do the same deal with this. Then I'll have the 2, it should be there. I've got the 2 opacity levels, right? So that would be my new alpha. Rid of that. This would be my new normal. And this would be new VRTC, right? Don't need the levels there. So we've got our alpha, got our normal, and we've got our VRTC, right? So now I can take like let's see, this, the alpha. I just merge the alpha and copy it. I also merge these, right? Get rid of the alpha channel here because I'm going to make a new one, and paste the new alpha in there and the new normal, and I can call this now VRTC 1, 2 combined, right? And same with the normal map. Let's make sure I've got everything good there. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay. And that'll be PNG, VRT, that'll be normal. 1, 2 combined. And that's pretty much it. So if you like certain strands from certain ones, just use a mask and make sure you're in control of what's happening and just check everything. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.